Hi everybody, my name is Ryan and I'm here on behalf of Theatrical Costumes Etc in Boulder, Colorado. I am teaching a class today on accentuating and creating a glamour eye makeup. You want to use a toner morning and night. It just opens up the pores so that the skin better receives the skincare that you're putting on. And remember, your skincare is primarily important so that your skin looks radiant and fresh after you're finished with your eyes. So we've started with a toner. We've also used a serum and a moisturizer. Being in a dry climate like Colorado, it's important to make sure you're using something that's going to treat the skin and protect it at the same time. So I'm applying the primer with a foundation brush. What a primer is primarily meant for is to create a barrier for the skin, so the skin's protected, as it softens the pores and creates a soft focus for the makeup. So now I'm going to use an eyeshadow base. It's actually a white pearl, because it's just going to be used as a blanket to prep the eye. And I'm using a flat synthetic brush, which makes it really easy to apply. You start lightest to darkest. So that's kind of why we're blanking out the eye area, and then we'll build from here. And we're going to be working with blues today. So I'm actually going to start lining her eye, but I'm actually going to use the liner as a base. And we're going to go a quarter of the way up. And what I like about this is that you don't have to worry too much about being too clean and neat. It can be kind of messy with the application because we're going over it with shadow. So now I'm going to start with this lighter teal shadow, and we're just going to pack a little bit of that shadow on top of the liner that we just used. Again, using a flat synthetic brush. So now I'm going to use a nice blender brush, and I've got a little bit of a lighter turquoise, and I'm just going to start blending these shadows out. The denser the brush, the better the blending you'll get. And one of my favorite techniques to use for blending the eyes is going in circular motions. And again, don't worry too much about getting messy on the outer perimeters of the eye. We're going to clean that up later. So now what I'm going to do is start to create a little bit of depth with a charcoal liner, starting on the outer corner, smaller strokes going into the lash line towards the tear duct. We're going to give it a little bit of a wing on the outer corner, and I'm going to build that up. And again, I've gone a little bit bold with the gel liner, but we're going to use that to our advantage with a charcoal shadow. So now I'm just using a roll-on shimmer stick, and I'm going to highlight the brow bone and start bringing some of the shadow work we've done onto the eye together. Take this charcoal black, and we're going to go right on the outer corner, blending it down towards the lash line. So when putting on eyelashes, one of the most important things to remember is to measure it to the eye. A lot of lashes come and they're too long, so you'll start from the inside of the lash, and you can save that for underneath. You can add it on top, on the outer corner. It just takes a few seconds for the glue to dry, and I like to just constantly tap the lashes.
Where do you get the glue to glue those lashes on?
Theatrical Costumes Etc in Boulder carries the lashes and the glue. And one of the key things to remember is to just get it as close to the lash line as possible. So one of my favorite liners to use for false lashes is a liquid liner, and I'm using one with a felt tip pen from Yves Saint Laurent. And we're starting from the inner corner, working our way down, laying it flat against the lash line. So now we're going to step away from the eyes and move towards the brows. And I like to use a powder-based eye pencil. You don't want to take the brows too thin, and you don't want to leave them too thick in certain areas. We want to keep them as consistent as possible. Now, as far as applying color goes, I'm going to start at the beginning of the brow towards the zygomatic arch with small strokes, bringing the color down. One of the other things that I want everyone to keep in mind is to not go past the corner of the eye, and then take the brush to work the color into the brow. And going directly onto the lash line itself, just remember to start from the outer corner, going in towards the middle. Again, it just takes a few minutes for it to dry, and then we can go in and start working with liner. And again, I'm using a waterproof gel liner, so it stays in place. Just kind of tapping it into the lower lid. So now I'm going to take a little bit of the turquoise from the NYX palette right underneath the gel liner that we just used. There are several different types of foundation that you can use, depending on whether you're behind the camera or you're just running errands. You'll want to find the perfect foundation that fits your needs. Ben Nye, that's carried at Theatrical Costumes Etc in Boulder, carries a nice cream selection. Graftobian also makes a really nice foundation concealer high def palette for HD, which is also good for every day. So it's important to make sure you find the right skin color with your foundation. You always want to make sure that your foundation replicates skin. You never want to look like you're wearing any foundation. The easiest way to break down foundation is to find out whether you're in the olive or ivory category. Starting with the cheekbone, going from the center of the ear down, and then along the jawline, down onto the throat, giving the skin that really beautiful bronzed finish. Then for the cheeks, I like to use a pop of color, and we're focusing it directly onto the apple, the ball of the cheek. And then we're going to lightly blend out with the focus primarily on the ball of the cheek. What I like about it, and I like to go with a matte bronzer, it just focuses on giving the skin a little bit more dimension and color while giving you that sun-kissed look. So it gives the skin that healthy glow without having to spend a ton of money on spray tans or putting your skin in jeopardy, tanning. So for lips, I actually like to start with a liner. You can kind of frame out the lips. And using a liner to begin with is important so that the lips actually stay on. Creates kind of a barrier so that the lips have something to stick to when we go in with gloss.